friends, welcome back to Survival Dispatch. Today what we're going to do is take a look at a piece of kit called a survival scarf by a company called Tuff Possum gear. The scarf is 17 inches wide and 58 inches long, which is big enough for one of my kids to climb in. My 10-year-old can get in here and use it as a sleeping bag. I mean, obviously it's not as warm as a down-filled bag would be, but it'd be a whole lot better than nothing. Another great use for this thing is because of its bright hunter orange, blaze orange on the inside. During hunting season, I could wrap this thing around me. Keeps me warm during hunting season because of the cold weather, and also lets other hunters know where I'm at so I don't get shot, which is a good thing. So what I'm doing right now is making what's called a browse bed. I'm filling this bag full of leaf litter, basically. Anything that I can kind of scrounge up off the ground, except for any big sticks or pine cones that might stab. As this bag fills up, I give it a little bit of a shake and kind of compress it a little bit to get it a little bit more dense. And as I do that, this thing is going to turn into a freaking awesome mattress. Now, you wouldn't have to necessarily fill this thing completely to the brim and use it as like a mattress. You could use it just simply for like a pillow. You could stuff a jacket in there or something like that, or, you know, some leaves like this and make yourself a nice pillow, because a pillow, in my opinion, is the difference between a good night's sleep and a bad night's sleep. And now I have something that I can lay my body on top of that, you know, I mean, it's not going to be a Tempur-Pedic or anything, but it's still pretty comfortable. It's soft, and the most important thing is, if it was cold outside, this would insulate me from the really cold, hard ground. So I've got a fire here in front of me. I can lay here on top of this mattress and stay relatively warm. Speaking of comfort, I think I can just take a nap right now. This is pretty good. So after I've laid on this thing and compressed it a bit, you can see kind of what it's doing. And I could always stuff it with more leaves. That's not a problem. But what's happened is my body has kind of conformed to it. And my head would be here, and it's kind of this pillow shape. So it gives me that feeling of having a pillow, basically, and get my head elevated a little bit, which will make for a more comfortable evening. But this mattress here, that thickness there, keeping me up off of the cold, hard ground, could be the difference between me getting hypothermia and not. Could be the difference between me getting a little bit of sleep and staying up shivering all night long, stoking a fire. If you have a fire and you have a way to keep yourself up off the ground, and potentially maybe if it's inclement weather, rain coming down or snow or something like that, and some sort of covering, a poncho, whatever, what have you, you'd be okay. You'd be able to make it. Another important thing to keep in your kit is some way to signal. Now, there's a lot of situations where you wouldn't want to be seen, you wouldn't want to be found. But let's say this is a situation where I'm lost, right? And I need some help. Being able to signal with something really bright, something that people can see from a long distance away, is important to have. And this survival scarf can be turned inside out, and it's blaze orange on the inside. And it's a really big piece of fabric that can be seen from a long ways away. I don't know if you're still tracking that. I can still spot that survival scarf, the blaze orange survival scarf, down that trail. We're approximately 200 yards away right now, and I can still see it quite clearly. Maybe a little bit difficult. Let's see if I can zoom in for you. Maybe a little bit difficult to see it through this camera. But as I just scan the horizon here, scan through the woods, that bright orange pops right out, and I see it. And that's a stationary signal. If you add a little bit of movement to it, it increases your visibility by tenfold. Now, as the name implies, this can be used as a scarf. It's a really big piece of kind of ripstop nylon, 2 layers. So it's going to have some insulatory value. It's going to have be able to trap some dead airspace between those 2 layers of nylon. And you could just essentially wrap it around your neck And keeping this portion of your body warm is a big deal. You'd be surprised at what just adding this little bit of layer to your clothing does for you in a cold climate. Just this little bit of material wrapped around your neck a couple times and kept snug keeps the wind off of you and it allows you to keep some of your body heat in. Now, if you've ever spent any time in hot, humid climates, you know the mosquitoes and biting flies and gnats and no-see-ums can just drive you freaking insane, especially if you're trying to sleep at night. And if you don't have a way to shelter yourself from that, it could be miserable, absolutely miserable, and drive you insane. And it could be tied on essentially just like you would a shamog, wrapped over the top of the head, covering up the ears. Chickens are going nuts down there. Covering up the ears, tucked under the chin, and then wrapped around. And then we'll just tie it off. And this will keep me protected from the mosquitoes, and at least keep them from driving me insane throughout the night. It covers my neck, covers my ears, because they love to go through your ears. And then you can literally use it just to cover up your entire face, because any exposed skin, if you're sleeping in a real buggy place, they're gonna go for it. They're just gonna chew you up. I remember having my entire body covered from head to toe, and there was a slit in my glove, in my leather work gloves that I was wearing, sleeping in, so they wouldn't bite my hands. And they just chewed that one exposed piece of skin to pieces, and it was really irritating. So if you can find some way to cover yourself up from head to toe with something like this scarf, it's going to save you and keep you from losing your mind and get you a little bit of rest, a little bit of sanity, so you can get yourself out of that situation. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. I appreciate you joining me for this quick review of the Survival Scarf by Tuff Possum Gear. I really like pieces of kit like this because of their simplicity and their versatility. The applications for something like this are only limited by our creativity, and I like things like that a lot. It's durable, it does a lot of stuff, and it's something that I would feel very comfortable, very happy to have in my kit. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. We'll see you on the next one.